Hey guys, Brian Stevens over here at Mortgage Shots. I got a fellow named Frank Ray. You guys might have heard of him before. My ex-partner.
Whatever. And for anybody on my podcast, yeah, I'm here with this guy named Brian Stevens. You may know of him as well. So let's go.
To put this whole thing to bed, me and Frank are still great friends. We have lunch on a regular basis. We talk on a regular basis. Just like so many things, after a lot of years of marriage, we kind of went a little bit of our own way, but we've certainly stayed in touch. So all is good in our world.
That's right. We stayed friends, which was really, really important.
Yeah,
to both of us.
So I don't know what would have happened if we would have stuck around.
Yeah, I'm sure you would have killed me. I just can't outmuscle you. That's the only reason why.
Okay, here's what I want to open with. So both of us have kind of jumped back into the origination game. The reason I jumped into it, it's twofold. One, things have slowed down. Let's just, call a spade a spade. The other part of it is that I think there's more credibility from my perspective if I'm writing loans. Here's what I know to be true, Frank. My success is an inevitability. There's not one ounce of me that second guesses it in this market or any other market. Now, I want to tell you what I'm doing. I decided I was going to have a group of realtors who come down here. Now, understand this. About 15 years ago, when Frank and I got into Think Big, Work Small at the time, and I decided I was going to be able to get out of originations, I got out of them. Like, I was so fatigued from the process and so fatigued from the fishbowl effect of a small community where everybody incestuously knows everybody else's, storylines and all that, that I took all my social media sites with, and there weren't many at the time.
Yeah.
I unfriended everybody in real estate and lending that I knew in my community.
You ejected, dude. Right.
I did. And I didn't do it maliciously. I was just exhausted from it. And everything we were doing at the time was outside of Solano County. So I say that for this reason. I jumped back in the kind of outreach program today, literally today.
Oh,
now,
neat.
I haven't really spoke with a bunch of agents because I just don't have the capacity to do that. We've had agents come in our office. So I decided this upcoming Friday, I'm going to have a group of agents who come down here. I had a married couple who I called, didn't get through to him. I know him better than her. I got through to her. She said she can't make it Friday, but she can make it on Wednesday. I spoke with another real estate agent who's right down the street from me. He enthusiastically said, he's going to come down. Now, I asked him, I said, do you know any other agents? I only got about 10 seats I can fill. Do you know any other agents I should call? He goes, well, let me think about it. And I know him well enough to where he's going to call me back on it. I called another agent. Now, I was doing some stuff with the FDIC bank, but I don't even consider that writing loans. Okay, so I called this one agent who's down in Vallejo. I said, hey, listen, this is kind of what we're doing. She says, I can't do it because I'm training new agents for our company. Come to find out, she's been training agents for her companies for 20 years. So there's a third of our Coldwell Banker agents, and we know how big Coldwell Banker is locally.
Yeah.
Go through her. I said, well, can I participate with that training? She goes, well, I would love you to. I said, well, how's your business going? She goes, I'm having the best year of my life.
Mm-hmm.
I said, really? What's going on? She goes, the most recent one is I just picked up 60 listings.
Neat.
I go, are you working with a builder? She goes, no. I'm working with an investor. Now, I don't have all 60. He's giving them to me 5 at a time. Yeah. And after I sell these 5, then I get the next 5 until all 60 are gone. Now, I said, well, hold on a second. I said, I want to participate with that. I said, is there anything that I can do? I go, so what about the people who are moving out? She goes, I reach out to them. She goes, I have a lender. I'm saying, call this lender. She goes, I don't have a relationship with them. She goes, I could make you that lender. So every tenant who's moving out of these 60 properties.
Yeah, you get a shot at them.
Yeah, they have first shot at the house. If they can't, they might buy something else.
Wait, it sounds like it was really hard to get that relationship too, Brian. That's remarkable.
Oh, it was, yeah, it required more.
Can I be that guy? Yeah, that sounds good. Hey, thanks.
Now, I said, are you holding open houses? She says, every Saturday and Sunday. I said, okay. I said, do you have any lenders working these open houses? Do you mind if I go down there and hang out with you and check it out?
Mm-hmm.
She goes, by all means. She goes, no, I'm not working a lot of these open houses. I have other agents.
Sure, makes sense.
Which means I have access to other agents who are at least trying to hustle. They're working their weekends.
Sure.
I like the hustle. I'm looking at this. Oh, and then by the way, I picked up another agent who also, by the way, one who can make it down here. She referred me to 2 other agents. One of those 2 agents has no interest. The other one, they're coming down. So then I did this between my 11 and 12 o'clock period. I said, well, should I try to call these agents? I don't have that much time to do this. I did all this damage in 45 minutes.
Yeah.
45 minutes. What it really kind of told me, Frank, is a couple of things. I'm thrilled to death with the work ethic of my fellow loan officers in Solano County because this thing's going to be easy. I'm dead serious. I'm not even kidding you. We've spent so much time training loan officers to be better, but locally, frankly, tactically, from my perspective, I love the fact that they're all lazy because that's going to make this thing a turkey shoot for me.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Now, you've said a couple of things about your business, and I know how you put some people down, and I've heard you, in our the LO Breakfast Club that you get an absolutely fantastic job with. You were meant for that. It's such an incredible group that you put together, and you're a maestro with it. I love it. If you guys don't check it out, the LO Breakfast Club that Frank does with the marketing animals is insanely cool. And it's only a half hour. It is a great way to start your day. I don't even remember the week, but you were telling me about an agent I think you had up in Folsom that I thought was pretty cool. And you told me, you said, you know what? If you just stick with it, you're going to get their business, even when you think you're not going to get their business.
Oh, I remember who you're talking about. Yeah.
Can you share that story?
Well, this is just going in line with the marketing animals plan. And you and I have known Carl White for so long, like from the way back in the day. And we've always kind of run in parallel with each other in various aspects. Heck, we've done big events with him. Remember we did that big video. What was it? Forget what it was, but
you didn't even get to stay in the hotel the event was at?
Right. It was packed with our people and they shoot us away. They said, yeah, sorry, we sold out. Yeah, we brought them here. They said, well, sorry, you got to go to another hotel. So video marketing workshop or something like that. Yep. But this goes way back. So we've been kind of tagging along, going side by side with Carl for many, many years. And then when we, when I did my move and made my change, I wound up connecting with him. But I tell you, I never realized what Carl's mortgage marketing animals coaching program really was, right? Like I had some idea. You and I have both some idea of what was going on over there. But when I really got into it, I thought, well, this is right in line with everything me and Brian Stevens have always ever done. Like, this is like, you've always said it, man. Brian, you've always said, you know what, man, I'm a great ditch digger. You need a ditch dug, give me a shovel, show me where to go, and I'll dig it, right? And so that's kind of the way that you kind of get started with animals is you start rolling up, you roll up your sleeves and you get to work. The good news is the work is just picking up the phone and talking to people. I mean, it's just what trips me out, Brian, is how in our heads originators can get about picking up the phone. Like, what a traumatic experience this is for people. Like, and it's like, but you and I have done this for so many years. It's like no big deal. So anyways, yeah, the marketing animal approach is first of all, you find qualified agencies or agents that do at least 8 buy-sides a year. You can look that up easily these days. There's multiple platforms you can look it up. And that's what I was kind of talking about this morning when you were on. It's like, make sure, when you're an originator and you're reaching out to real estate agents, just make sure they've got the capacity, to maybe have some business. You got to earn it. Let's be honest, right? You've got to earn it. And how do you earn it? Well, you close on time, you communicate better than anybody else, and you follow up with those leads like green on a pickle. That's what you do. And this is marketing animals, but you make steady phone calls. So, we found an agent, connected with him, really great guy, good agent. I've closed a few deals from him over time. And, it was the typical, I've already got a loan officer, and for me, it was, I get that, man, but I just want to get to know you and just kind of figure the whole thing out. And just, I just love to meet you. It's like, sure, let's get together. And so got together, had a conversation. And even in that conversation, it was, well, this has been great, but just so you know, we've got a relationship in-house. And so, chances of you getting anything from me, literally like words out of his mouth, chances of you getting anything from me are pretty slim to none. And we're like, okay, no problem. Well, Carl has a famous saying. He says, meeters are cheaters. If they'll meet, they'll cheat. As long as you stay in touch. And so I did the job. I did the course, right? I every week stayed in touch, made my calls. And then next thing you know, I'm getting business from him. I'm doing business with him, so it works. And that goes back to the work ethic that you're talking about with a lot of originators. Most originators might have tried once, maybe twice, and then they just walk away. They're not willing to go 12 times, 12 weeks in a row.
You remember, I know we've booted this up between me and you, but Jeff Ogden was the one that stands out with me on this.
Yeah.
When Jeff Ogden, he was an account rep for this was a subprime lender back in the
right,
and he was always in our office. He was prime, then he went to a subprime. It was more
right. He's at Penny Neck now.
Yeah, and he's writing loans, right?
Yeah, well, he's a wholesaler.
I remember we were working at, I think at the time, the largest brokerage in the country at First Priority Financial, and this is when you actually would sit your desk.
Yes,
we had giant printers that needed to be serviced on a weekly basis.
Right. Yes. There might have even been a fax machine back there. Yeah.
But so Jeff Ogden was in between jobs. He didn't have a job for like a month. He quit one of his companies and he didn't go to another company for a month. He was in our office every single day. And I would be sitting at my desk. I'd look up, there's Jeff Ogden.
Right.
And I remember asking him, I go, dude, you don't even have a job right now. I said, why the hell are you coming in here? But he knew where his equity was. He knew that he needed to stay in touch with his loan officers.
Right.
Coming in there, even though he had no expectation of closing a deal because there's no deals to close.
Right.
Oh boy, how smart is that? It's really like the importance of staying in front of people, staying top of mind is just incredible.
It's exactly the point, precisely the point. Now, today, especially after COVID and all that, walking into real estate offices, which used to be a big deal for me when I started, that's how it was. I know with you too. I mean, we walked into real estate, we said hi, we visited, that's not so much the norm these days. Most of the time they're not there, but that phone call is equally powerful. You make that phone call, even if you get the voicemail, it's okay. You leave the voicemail, you're checking in, see if you can help them. But it's the consistency that winds up winning. And that's one thing, like you said, you're getting back in and you're not worried about your success at all. I'm not worried about your success either. I know Brian Stevens, like it's happening, it's like mortgage industry. This is happening. Okay. Brian's back. And it's just, and me, I'm the same way. We were kind of cut from the same cloth in that regard. It's like, I'll find the way, I'll make it happen. Put my back up against the wall and let's go. Not that it's not, but same principle. I have my reasons for being back in. You have your reasons for being back in. And yeah, man, you just got to put in the intelligent effort into it. And if you do it and if you're consistent, you'll win.
You were talking about how, for me and you, this is a walk down memory lane, but when we were writing loans, my primary source of business was loitering in real estate offices. Just literally loitering, finding a way to pulling the Jeff Ogden I was telling you about.
Yeah.
I went into a real estate office today. I went to that Realty One above Your Green.
Sure.
And there was one realtor in there.
Yeah.
And that agent was on the way out the door before we got down the stairs.
Yeah.
Which means there was nobody in there. Ellis might be asking themselves like, well, how do you find these realtors? Where, where's their watering hole? There certainly is that type of thing. But the one that I really look at right now is I've kind of repurposed social media. Like Facebook right now to me is just dead. I don't go there for enjoyment. It's not even an afterthought. It's wildly insignificant. I use it for work, but even at that, I'm finding it
doesn't produce much. That's for sure. It really doesn't.
But you know what it does? Joanna brought this up. She says, you know what Facebook is it's a directory. Excuse me. Facebook is a good directory. That's what it is. It's a directory to where you can find who you're looking for, what you're looking for. And, I'll tell you for me is, the one thing that you can still get effectively is instant messaging. I can go ahead if I want to target an agent. So we both know there's different ways where we can find out what production is. Then I can go to Facebook. I can find out the disposition. I have since started, friending some of these agents back again. But when you send an instant message to somebody, instant message is still, I think, has a little bit of utility and it's free.
Mm-hmm.
And so often we get like sidetracked with big numbers. It's like, well, I don't necessarily want to be one-offing somebody. I want to go ahead and blast 500 agents or 50 agents.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm going to rate my success one agent at a time. So if I can go ahead and pick off an agent a day, well, I'm in short order going to be very close to where I need to be. I don't know if I can average that. But I do know that I can show unique attention, special attention to 4 or 5 agents on a daily basis and start to build up a relationship, start to build up trust with, all the fulfillment ideas that I have in mind. But my starting point for loan officers who are trying to find out where they need to start, think of Facebook as a directory. Go ahead and target the agents you're looking for and go ahead and just a little bit of outreach to them, I think goes a long way. Truth is, if you reach out to 5 agents, I'll bet you 3 will send you some type of message back, and that starts some form of communication.
Yeah, you're right. Instant Messenger is really, really good for that. That most people will reply to that. They'll see that come through, and they'll reply in some way.
Right.
You're pretty much. I bet you do have a pretty high probability of getting a reply through instant messenger. That's a good thought. Maybe I'll look at that.
Well, why not, right?
Why not? Yeah, it's good. It's good. Yeah, especially if I can go through, find the agents I'm really curious about, really interested in, find them on Facebook. Hell, I'm probably already friends with them, you and me, right? Yeah, and then just start engaging there. That would be a good thing to do. Yeah.
I always look at like the cost of time and the cost of money. Like, all right, how much going to take, how much is it going to cost me, and what is my expected ROI on it? And it doesn't cost me any time, it doesn't cost me any money, so why wouldn't I do it? Any ROI is going to be beneficial. Just as I told you earlier, when I was reaching out to these agents and I found one who got 60 listings, I stumbled across her. I wasn't looking for that. I stumbled across it. The activity
right. The
activity is what found it. And so, my thinking is I'm going to have a ton of black swans through this activity, this unforeseeable opportunities that are going to present themselves. And it's just up to loan officers to be nimble enough to really identify these opportunities and make sure we take advantage of them.
Right. Yeah. We used to call it flipping stones. Remember, like you never know, you start having a conversation. As long as you go a little deeper with the conversation, you never know what's there, and then suddenly you find yourself having a wonderful conversation with a wonderful opportunity that wasn't even the purpose of the communication, wasn't even the purpose of the call. Next thing you know, you're into some really great situation. It happens. It happens all the time.
Now, let me ask you this. So your wife sells real estate. Are you concerned about your ability to get business as a lender with the changes that are, going to take place with real estate agents or commissions on the buy side? Where do you sit with that whole thing?
I'm good with it. I just, what we all have to do as originators, we just have to follow the buyer. The buyer's still going to wind up with somebody, and more than likely they're going to wind up with an agent who's savvy enough to get a buyer agent agreement signed, right, with a buyer. Your real estate agents are still going to be the primary source of, I believe, of buyer referrals. They just start. You ever see that pie chart from NAR? Carl used to show it all the time. Like NAR interviewed, and this is like a 2023 survey where NAR surveyed a bunch of home buyers and said, where did you find your loan officer? And the pie chart's all split up, but it's basically like a little over 60% said their real estate agent, right? And then the next biggest sliver of that pie was either a family or a friend, right? A referral from a family or a friend. It was probably, 65, 70% of all buyers found their loan officer either, it might even be more than that, more like 75%.
I do.
Either through a real estate agent or from, family or friend, that type of thing. Then you had your little slivers of, social media or an ad, or I went online or whatever, the little tiny, the rest of it was broken up into really tiny little slivers. So that was the bulk of it. And it's going to be the same thing. We're just going to follow the buyer. Where do they land? They're going to land with agents that now have buyer agent agreements. Okay, great.
Really interesting because people will hopscotch around, won't they? They'll go to Zillow, they'll get online, they'll check some things out. But when push comes to shove, the numbers bear it out. And I know exactly what you're talking about. They're looking for a referral they're looking for a referral that's trusted, or they're looking for somebody that they feel that high degree of trust with, not necessarily somebody that they're finding exclusively online. The numbers that I remember, Frank, is I think it said that it was either 3 or 4% of buyers, they found their loan officer through social media.
Yeah, very small number. Yeah.
Maybe they vet them through social media, but they didn't find them there. And I remember thinking, how much time are we spending on disproportionately large amount of time are we spending on social media for such a small ROI? We could be doing the simple things. But
yeah, and it's here I know exactly what it is, and so do you. It's because it's a lot easier for me to go on my phone and type a little something and push send than it is for me to pick up the phone and call somebody that I have never spoken to, but who's a great potential referral partner, and say, hey, I'd like to introduce myself and say hi to you. Is there any way we could get to know each other? That, to most originators, is the most horrifying proposition of anything. But putting a little post or a selfie on Facebook, that's easy, right? That's easy peasy.
I'm okay with cold calling and warm calling and odd calling and whatever it is, but I don't like it. Nobody likes it.
Right.
But you do find yourself in conversations that you enjoy unexpectedly. And then the other part of it is that if that's going to be the highest and best use of my time, the next phone call I pick up might be a referral source that's going to sustain me and my family and my opportunity to earn income for years to come.
Yeah, years.
I have to ask myself, why wouldn't I do that? And
right.
If you're not willing to, then maybe we're in the wrong line of work.
Yeah, no, I would agree 100%. I tell you, with for our Call Stars peeps, and I'm probably going to be starting to jump on Call Stars relatively quickly here, but those guys, they all jump on a Zoom together, and you'll have 30, 40 people on a Zoom, and everybody gets kind of pumped up and ready to go. And then everybody mutes and starts making calls, and they chat with each other on objections or whatever, wins, whatever. I got an appointment or I got a referral or whatever. It's really, really cool. But what they always say is, after about 6 or 8 weeks of it, you get past that I don't like it thing. They just get past it. And it's like, it just doesn't matter. You're going to make the call. Oh, they were mean to me. Oh, okay, next. It just means nothing until they find the one who says, sure, yeah, I'll meet with you. It's like, great, man, let's get together. So the rejection becomes, a lot of people say this, Carl included, they're not saying no to you. They're saying no to your offer. That's not you personally, probably a very nice person. If they got to know you, you probably think they're very nice. They think you're very nice, right? But they're just, come on, man. Especially when we're calling real estate agents that are busy real estate agents, you're just dropping in on their day unexpected and just having that having that call, don't expect, always to be like, that sounds great. Yes, let's get together. You're always going to be met with a little bit of resistance.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A little bit, but if you get the right scripting, you know how to kind of get through it, you can make it happen.
I mean, these agents they're so conditioned to, just excuse my language here, to kind of having their butts kissed, from loan officers. But along with that butt kissing comes a whole bunch of fluff and a whole bunch of false bravado and a whole bunch of like non-truths. I mean, if I was, you put yourself in an agent's shoes for a couple of minutes. You're an agent and you have, you've been at this for a decade. How many times have you been hit up for business from loan officers? And how many times have you had, empty promises delivered to you? Yeah, right. So, if you talk to a real estate agent, and this happens to all of us, and you feel that you're getting some resistance or you're getting what might be some misguided form of arrogance, maybe it is that. But maybe, just maybe it is their professional experience of dealing with loan officers who have not followed through with what they promise. And it's kind of a here we go again scenario.
100%.
Understand that we have to overcome these things. One of the best ways is pick up your phone if they ever call you back. I mean, just catch them off guard. Oh,
yay. That's a great one.
But just understand, you're interrupting somebody else's time. You're looking for their business. As Frank said, and I know that he did this. I think it was that agent who was up in Folsom. If you stick with them long enough and you show that you're not like all the other lenders that they've had to deal with over the years, maybe that's the cost of success for you. It's not the initial phone call and the yes or the no, but maybe it's your ability to kind of show some gumption and stick-to-itness. Maybe that's the cost of your success. Question then becomes, are you willing to do it? And my answer is, this one's a no-brainer.